Okay, actually the IDQ is one step further for MDM, where MDM is a master data management, where the data IDQ is a part of a data governance. It's more about dealing with data, it's more similar to MDM only, but where you do the master. The purpose of MDM is to get the master data, but where the purpose of the MDM IDQ is to get the cleansed data, moreover like standardized data, enriching data. I can say the single version of data, where we can also handle the duplication of data in IDQ, but not like your MDM, like match merge concept. We also have the match merge concept, but not exactly like you do the match and you do the full match, right? So we have similar topics over here, but not like you don't have like what are the tables? You have the 6 to 7 tables, right? You have CMS tables, reference tables, identity tables. You have the merge tables, like that. We don't have those kind of things. Here we do similar sort of matching, but we do two things. One is that manual merge, one is auto merge. So that's where, that's where in auto merge we can say, irrespective of the similarity, based on the percentage of match, it blindly merges the things. Okay. Where it comes to the manual merge, based on the percentage partial match, you can say complete approximate match. Based on that, we will do merge. That's very different, but the very easy to say. Other than the IDQ has a couple of transformations which are not available in the IDQ. I'll go through that first list first, then we will start our session. Okay. So these are 6 dimensions we call an IDQ. What we mostly focus on the when you talk about IDQ, like completeness, conformity, consistency, accuracy, duplication, and integration. Completeness in the sense we try to see what is data is there, what is missing or unavailable. Missing is different, unavailable is different, right? Missing in the sense the information is available, not getting. Unavailable in the sense data is not there, right? There is no data for that. Where in some cases missing data is there, and if we can able to regenerate or populate, we will do it with the help of the reference tables and making some standardization kind of thing. So if we're talking about what data means, in the sense, see, being data available is not shared or not populated properly. If you talk something, if you might be seen when filling the forms, when you fill the address, when we filling the form in the local area, we don't use the pin code, we don't use the city or state, right? We just fill our name, phone number, email, and the norm-based address, right? We don't bother filling the city, state, or pin code number kind of information. So that's where the being the complete information, not giving the full information. If you see here, talk about a complete information or talk about completeness. When you raise an invoice or any information, if you raise the invoice, if you share the invoice information without the invoice number, it's meaningless. If you make an online order and your invoice generated without the invoice number and the invoice date, it doesn't make any sense. Without the invoice number, you cannot say which customer raised which order, right? If your order is showing your invoice number and the date, then only you can say what is the invoice raised and what date it was raised, it properly or not, or is a correct invoice or not, right? Invoice will give you the actual information of your order, right? If there is no invoice generated for any order, it means that the order may be right or it may be wrong. There is no proper information. Or you can say if you're in India or outside of India?
No, I'm in India, Bangalore.
Okay. If you might see that most of the cases when you go in India, right, as of now, right now, wherever you go, they're asking the PAN card, this one, right? Aadhaar card, or PAN card, or you can say passport number, right? So being in one of the application, if you're going for a embassy for stamping, if you're not defining your SSN, your PAN card number, what is the application you have filled, it's meaningless, right? So for a given reason, or for a given request, if the actual information is not providing, the purpose of the form application is meaningless. So that's what is called a completeness. So conformity in the sense, storing the data in a right pattern or in a required pattern. if someone asks you to fill the information in a PAN card or a passport number, you should be giving the PAN. If you have application form where you have to fill your passport number, PAN card number, or email ID, phone number, you should be filling the exact column in exact place. It doesn't mean that I given the information. What is the column you have? I mean to say, suppose if you have information application like something like you have these columns, but if you give names as per this is okay. It doesn't mean that you will give the PAN card over here and you say I've given my PAN card information. I don't bother about the order. It doesn't make any sense, right?
Correct.
You're given information, but did you give the proper information? That's matter. Giving information is not important, right? Giving information in the proper pattern is important, right? That's what I call this conformity. Data stored in the what data is stored in a non-standard format. When talking about my name, the name should be in proper way. When I say name, the name should be proper name only. This is called actual information. So giving the proper information, the proper standard. It may be date, or it may be number, email number, it may be passport number, whatever it may be. What information you're giving is not a matter. What information is given in the proper pattern is matters, right? This is called the completeness. Consistency in the sense giving the complete information. Yep. I might say like what do you complete information? Okay. You see here this one. These two, or you can say, you see these two. This is a form where you have to fill in some information where you see business type and the business person name. You see, so business type is a person. In case of it's a person, it should be a name, not in a engineering, right? But in case of business, it should be engineering or some organization name, not a person name, right? So what type of information you're sharing, in which pattern is the importance? For a person, you should be giving the name. For a business person, it should be giving the organization name. That's the most important over there. So that is called giving the consistency information, okay? Giving a proper value in a proper columns. And next one is accuracy. What data is correct or out of date? I mean to say, you know, right? Telangana, it was previously called Andhra AP, right? Now it's divided into Telangana, right? So similarly,
Yes.
what will over a period of time, if I write my address as an AP instead of Telangana, my letter or my courier order maybe it will go to the state level being AP. Then it will decide to go which state or which place, right? So if I mention Hyderabad as an AP, now it is called out of date information, right? Previously it was AP only, but now it's called Telangana. So giving the proper information or what are the information you're giving is out of date or correct is not the matters. Over a period of time, some address or some information will get changed. Correct. In that case, how are you going to correct that information is the matters, right? So giving the accuracy information is important. Maybe previously we called it as Sydney, now it's called Newcastle. Like over a period of time, when the information got changed, we have to keep information properly. Maybe you can say address. Previously, if you have a bank account information and you given old information and you did not update your current address or current phone number or email ID, then you don't get proper information to you, right? You'll get old information. But sometimes you might be seeing without giving the correct address or phone number, but you still get the correct your notification from the banking side or your different systems. Because you may have a credit card, you may have a debit card, and you may have the banking, net banking. You might change your address any one place. But even though the bank has a capability where they can correct it from the multiple locations, wherever the latest information they will get, they will correct it based on their how the system they're maintaining that. Okay. So coming to the integrity in a sense, storing information in a proper way. If you have multiple source systems where you're getting the data from multiple source systems, and as I told, right, if you have each source system is talking about different information from your side, But still, this proper if still it is in a one information, they'll see that it will be corrected in every place. So if we're talking about these two different source systems, where you can see the name is different, right? Name is given in a different way, but where the address is same, right? Obviously, if you are putting order in a different websites, there will be different date would be there for the invoices. But we are coming to the name, they'll see how the name is given and what pattern they are written here, so they can correct it. So this is called integrating two systems in a two or more systems in one place. They try to see which is the best, what is the correct information you are provided over there. Okay. So the life cycle of the IDQ is like would be like this. We will have the life cycle of IDQ is the first is profiling and discovering, analysis and data that will be done by the data stewards and the business analyst. Second thing is define and design the rules, matrix and the rules, where we do design what is the requirement. After doing the profiling, we will try to understand what are the different constraints we have in the data, what are the different data issues we have in the data, and what are the data qualities we have the issues with the data we have, what is the duplicacy we have, what is the uniqueness we have. We will define the data over here. After defining the data, we will decide the rules. Based on the rules, we will define the what are the matrices and what are the rules has to be built over here. After this, designing the design and defining the design, we will come to the design and implementation of the rules. We will design the applets or mappings, and we will try to populate the data. But here, some places we will need to go for the exception management, where we call as a manual task. Wherever there is a manual interaction is required in IDQ, that's we call as a manage exception. It means maybe it's a duplicate record or a bad record, so that will be corrected with the data stewards. That will call as a exception management. And coming to like DQ monitoring and the matrix, like after the building the rules, after building our jobs, you deploy the post deployment. Wherever you monitor the jobs and wherever some requirement got changed or some issues identified, that will be corrected by this by monitoring and the monitoring the production code. If there are some changes or there some any feeling any data issues are there, again we will be profiling the things and discover the data, and we will follow this life cycle again. Okay. Yeah. What can IDQ do other than the power center? IDQ can do the whatever we can do in the power center. What is the transformation we have in the power center? We have all this transformation in IDQ, but more than that, we can do this task. Like a business focus browser based also. I want to say for power center, we can do only the client tool is there in which is like a client tool installed in the local machine. Like you have MDF, right? Web-based tool. Similar IDQ also we have the two things. When we have one tool, we have the web-based. Other tool we have the client-based tool. I'm just say developer client. The web-based tool, using web-based tool, you can do a partial coding, not 100% coding. But mostly the web-based tool is used by the data stewards or the business analysts or the what do you call the end users kind of thing will be used this one. But mostly the data stewards or business analysts will be used to create the base profiles, mapping specifications, to apply the rule, create the rules, or create the profiles, discover the data things. Data discovery profile can be done in the done through the profiling also on the developer client as well. The most important thing in the IDQ is that unstructured data processing can be happened, and we can do standardization. Unstructured data processing is not the B2B thing. Informatica B2B is different thing. That's again a completely different topic. Here, unstructured data in the sense, maybe suppose if you got your information like this. This is what you got, and you want your output would be Now from here, we can get PAN card easily. If you're talking about here, I can get PAN card easily, right? PAN number I can get easily. I can get email address also easily. This goes to here. We can identify this easily. Not an issue for that. Now coming to this information. How I'm going to get this information? Here you see only one column, right? Or you say one column, one name. This is one scenario where another scenario maybe some other person's name would be like IDQ only. So if you're getting single column, if you're getting two different kind of patterns, you see it's a first name, last name, where you say first name, middle name, last name. In this case, how are you going to separate my first value as a Raj and second as a Kumar and last name as a K? That matters. This is called parsing. Where it will look into the data house we are getting. By itself, it will separate, it divides data into multiple columns. Maybe if I get the complete address information in one go, and like if suppose if this feel like this is this complete information is one column like this, how are you going to convert this into this information? It's called parsing. What is it? If you are getting a one related information in a single column, how are you going to separate? That is called, we call it the parsing. You will parse the values into the as per the given path line. So it's called parsing. We have one more parsing which is called Informatica B2B DT. Informatica B2B DT. That's a different, again, that's a lengthy topic. Okay. So what is the parser we are talking about here is called this one. Unstructured data is nothing but this data, not the normal Informatica B2B unstructured one. This is unstructured in the sense this one. This is not unstructured, right? Here you can see all the information mixed up in one place. So how are we going to separate this value is called as a parse. Unstructured data parsing can be done, and the standards in this way. So this is called parsing. And second, standardization in the sense, if you see, this is Hyderabad. Instead of Hyderabad, I want to see this as a Hyderabad. This is one thing, because if you see, I got Hyderabad, but whatever the state with TS, I didn't get this one. I can regenerate this one from the, based on the pin code number or based on the state, I can regenerate this missing information also. This is called standardizing. Wherever there is some information is given based on the available information, we can regenerate the missing information also. Okay. And global address validation. Global address validation is one of the informatica component which will maintain the 240 plus countries address information across the world. It's on timely basis. Wherever the new society, a new organization, or the new locality build, it will maintain the addresses. So what are the addresses you got with you? And if you want trying to get it the standard address, if that address is maintained by the address, doctor address, if you're using that component, if you're passing the parcel address to you to it, or the what the address information you have, if you're passing this to the transformation, the transformation will correct the address and it will give it to you. Okay, this is called fuzzy match, and correcting data is nothing but the your MDM match only, but you have different matches over here. We have the when you say fuzzy match, we call it as a field match, and another one is we have the identity match. With the fuzzy match, we will define some algorithms to identify the matches between the records. Where identity match is like it's like if we have some algorithms over there which is predefined algorithm, based on that we will define the matches or there or not. And the most important component of the IDQ is this called one of the components called midstream profiling. In the midstream profiling, if you want to see the output on any of the component on any of the transformation where you apply the logic, you just need to right click on that. You can see the preview the data. It may be source, it may be target, anything between the source to target. If you apply any logic, if you want to see what is the source before the data, what is the data before you apply the rule, and what is the data after applying the rule. If you want to see the transformation of the data on any component, you can just right click on it and you can see the data. That's what we call the midstream profiling. And the exception management, as I told, like it's used to identify the exception cases like the bad records or the duplicate records. That will be corrected with the data stewards. Here, what is the data section identifies the bad record? It will be corrected with data stewards. And what are the records we feel may be duplicate, what may not be duplicate? If you are in the confusion state by automation process, that's where the data stewards will correct the data. Okay. Proactive monitoring in the sense, for a power center, we don't have any web-based tool where we can monitor jobs, but where in the IDQ, we have a web-based system where you can have the internet and have the browser. You can check what is the your job status. Is run fine or not? What is the status of that? We can see that. Okay. This is architecture of the IDQ. What is the green part you're seeing, right? That is the IDQ part. What is the blue screen you're seeing? That is an Informatica part. Previously, in version 5.9, these two are different from version 9.5. They are both IDQ and MDM power centers integrated in one place with the concept called IPS, Informatica Platform Services. Okay, and there we got a single console which is called website web console, from where you can log in and configure and maintain the services. So in IDQ, we have the 4 components which we call as a model repository, which will maintain all the code. What is the code you do? Everything is maintained over here. Where the data integration service is called the job services which will use to run the jobs. What is the code you build over here? When you run into jobs, to run the jobs, you require a DIS, which is called data integration services. Okay, and this will maintain all the mappings, profiles, SQL servers. What are the services you may run? You create those entirely will be stored in this data integration. Will be run through these data integration services. Okay, and endless service is one of the web-based tool which will be used by the data stewards or data analyst or business analyst or the end users through the web-based tool, which is an Informatica analyst tool, which is a best tool. From this, they can use the services. Where the developers will be use the Informatica developer client to connect to the model repository services or the data engineering services to run the jobs, to create the jobs, and to run the jobs. Okay, let me show the jobs services to you. So this is the admin console of Informatica, including IDQ and MDM. So this component, you see, model repository services. Model repository services is required to maintain all your metadata. What is the coding you do in a developer client and the Informatica list.
Which one? No.
This is 10.1. Actually, currently, some companies are going for 10.3, 10.2 also. Sorry, but right now I have 10.1 only because due to this Corona, I'm not able to get the new license.
Okay.
But,
So is there any differences?
No. From developer side, there is no change. Only look and feel is different. They enhance the tool. That's it. There is no change on the developer side. Okay.
Yeah, I hear like in my office current version is like they are saying like 10.4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see, I'll tell you how the version. I'll come there. See how the versions will come in the sense. If you when the new tool when the new version releases, what are the bug fixes? What are the issues if I find, right? Bug fixes. They give whenever you raise the concern of any issue, they send you a bug fix. They send you we call it as EBF. EBF enterprise bug fix. You call it an enterprise bug fix. They send the EBF files to you whenever you raise any concern of any issue with your tool. They send you the bug solution for the fix issue. They have some count, a limitation of the count. Once that count reaches for a given version of the bugs, every time instead of giving every small plugins to you, once they reach 100 or 150 or 100 count, they will release the new versions. Okay, that's where the new version will come up. There won't be any new changes in the versions. They will be called, moreover, they call bug fixes, and maybe they change enhance the tools based on the customer requirement, the look and feel, maybe the optimization, and improvise the tools. There won't be much change in thing. I got the license 10.2, but I have the software 10.2, but I need some time to configure that one. But developer client wise, there is no change. Only maybe the look and feel may be change, graphical wise, but for the developer side, there is no change. Okay. So this is a model repository where all the metadata of your code will be stored. And the second tool is called data integration services, where all the jobs will be deployed to run or schedule the things. So without deploying your jobs to the application services, this data entry services, you cannot run any jobs. If you want to run any jobs, you should be deploying the jobs to your data integration services. Unless you deploy any jobs to data integration services, you cannot run any jobs or you cannot schedule any jobs. Okay? What are the jobs you design in the developer client or enlist tool that should be deployed first. And the third one is called, this is important component we have in the, for IDQ, context management services, where we maintain all reference tables. Because of reference tables, sometimes we don't need to change anything or coding level. By doing manual entry in the backend side, our code issue will be fixed. Maybe tomorrow, today you are getting input. Tomorrow, I'm talking about parser. Today, my input for my name pattern would be this is my input pattern today I'm getting, and I'm separating this as a F name, M name, L name. Today I written this code. Tomorrow, after 3-4 months, they started sending me data like this. So in general terms of things, we will go into the code change, right? After 6 months, I'm getting the new data like this. In this case, what will happen? What are the suffix is there? Suffix or say prefix. We will lose this information, right? So if what I need to do, just I need to change this information in the backend level. So I don't need to touch anything in the code by just doing this entry in the backend. Automatically, this data also be automatically you can see, and you just need to change your target structure, alter the target structure, and automatically you can see this data like this. Okay, what are the pattern you want to do? You can give the pattern. So this can be taken care by reference to this CMS context management also. Maybe sometimes if you're getting your information like this, you have different patterns, but your IDQ want to see in a single version of truth. So this what do you call, whatever this reference table is that, by looking into this value, when you pass this value to the reference table, it automatically get converted into like this. That's where reference table will be used to our handle. Maybe today I'm getting these two values. Tomorrow they add one more value. After they add one more value. So what are the values they are giving? Just I need to change it. I need to just update into reference table. This is automatically taken care of by the reference table only. I'll show how the reference table will look like when we go into the more over thing. Okay, let me show it. Let me show it itself. So this is my input file. I have the 6 records. My reference table will be like this. So my reference table will have this one. I just keep on adding this thing. Suppose today I have getting 3 values. Tomorrow they added 3 more values in my input file. So I need to go and modify my reference table from the backend in the database. I just need to add 3 more additional columns. So when my input comes, it will check this entire row. In this entire row, out of any six columns matching, then this would be my output value. Okay. Any of these 6 values matching in my row, it's up to you. Want to show in a row wise or you want to show in a column wise? It's up to you. Well, it will be decided by the project how they want to maintain that. Based on that, we will be adding the value in a given row. Any of the 6 columns matching here, then for all these 6 records, my output would be like this. Okay, maybe tomorrow they add one more pattern. Just you need to add this 2 over here as one more column, then your automatically output will be like this. No need to do any changing in the code. Just make the change to the reference table. That's it. Okay. That's all CMS services. Now the last one is called analytics services, which is used for mostly for the data stewards or business analysts or the end users. to look into the to run the job profiles, scorecards, the dashboards, or to create the base reference tables, or to do modification the rules kind of things. Okay, but mostly developers don't get chance to work in this space because the business analyst will create the base profile and all those kind of things, and we will just extract those information for our development purpose. Okay, coming to the tool. So these are the standardization transformation. Standardization different, standardization is different. Okay, standardization are terms we use to define what are the things we can do in IDQ, where we can use case conversion transformation, which will use to convert input one case into uppercase, one case into another case format, like maybe uppercase to lowercase or lowercase to uppercase or triangle case, title case, where we have a component called merge transformation. Merge is not like merge in the MDM. This merge is nothing but concatenating the multiple columns into one column. Okay, and this is standardize transformation, which will convert the standardize the characters of the strings into a given pattern. I would say it will be do sometimes replace or sometimes will be convert the things. Whatever I explained you right now, this one, this will be done moreover this will done moreover using the standardization only. Okay, decision taking based on our values, we will decide whether what has to do for that. Or you want to split the records, or you want to split the pipelines, or you want to split, apply the filters, logics, whatever maybe you want to do, you can do that with those things. Labeler is used to identify the values are given in values coming out in a given pattern or not. I mean to say, when you're talking about the PAN card number, we have some predefined pattern, right? When you say PAN card, so this labeler will be used to identify whether my given value is right or wrong. Suppose if I say my PAN card is so in this case, we know right, PAN card is having the what do you call PAN card has pattern of giving the strings 5 strings, 4 numbers, and 5 string for one string, right? And comes to the passport. Passport is nothing but single character followed with the 7 digits. So in this case, you see, my PAN card would be pattern of this one, right? So when I'm trying to validate pattern, where my pattern is this pattern would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when I define my rule as this one, I should say it should be 5 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 character. This is my rule what I defined for the passport validation. Sorry, PAN card validation, and passport validation is one string 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And my email ID would be anything A to Z, anything A to Z, anything A to Z, with the numbers kind of thing, already at the rate, and it would be anything A to Z again, and .com, anything. If I define like this, my information. If this is the case, you see, I have 5 digits, 5 strings, 4 characters, and 1 string. So this is valid. When it comes to passport, I have 1 string as per this 1 string and the 7 digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Then this is a valid. Coming to email ID. Email ID can't be tested. It will be either Gmail or kind of thing. So it's a invalid. Here, as I told, it should be a 5 strings, 4 integers, 1 string. But here you see you have 4 strings only. So this is a invalid. So what it will do, this is again invalid. So this labeler will label the values, whether the given value is in a proper value, proper pattern or not. That's it. You don't know anything more than that. It may be character wise, or maybe the string wise, or word wise. The labeler will just identify whether the given input is in a proper pattern or not. That's it. It just label the values to check whether the input value is in a proper pattern or not. You don't do more. You just do that's it only. Not more than that or less than that. Okay. When coming to the parser, as I told, right, this one. Converting one column into multiple values based on our requirement. This is done by the parser transformation. Okay. So what can we do in IDQ? In IDQ, we can do cleanse the data, cleanse and transform, parse and enrich. Cleansing in the sense removing the unnecessary information, noise information, which is a junk characters and unnecessary symbols, words, kind of thing, or unnecessary this kind of things. Can be cleansed labeler using the labeler standardizer converter. We can do that. So labeling a labeler in the sense, if you see here, if I say, if I want to remove all the in this case, if I want to remove this from, suppose in this case I want to remove all my suppose if you're talking about a phone number. Or some more record, I'm getting value like this. There are two different patterns. If I want to maintain this pattern in my in a single pattern, I have to remove these values, right? So how this will be removed? This will be removed based on the labeler only. Where the space I see, I replace the space with the S space, and I remove that space. So this removing space, replacing the space is nothing but the labeler. Where the removing the space, removing this S from the input file is nothing but the standardizer. So based on this labeler standardizer converter, we will clean the data mostly. And parser is like told, right? Converting multiple fields in values in one field into multiple different separate fields. Enriching data also the same thing, using expression, or we can standardize the data. So mostly for the standardization, we will use these things. It cleans and transformation, parse and enrich the data. This is what we do in the IDQ. You see here, I have the 3 input columns, but I got the 5 output columns. Where you can see I have the product number, I have the brand, iPod, but you see description, but I can size, color, description separately. This can be achieved based on the parser and the standardization. Parser in the sense it will separate the each word into each single description into multiple columns with the help of the standardization transformation. In the standardization, in the reference table, wherever I found 4G, that is considered the size. Wherever I see the red, that is considered the color, and the remaining piece will be considered as my description. But if I remove the 4G and the color from here, still I can see 4 GB nano special edition red. But here it's a different pattern. But using based on the parser and the standardization technique, I can be fulfill my requirement with the proper patterns also. If what is information is not available there also, I can retrieve this from the reference tables. So this is one more example. This is my input file, one column, but where I can get multiple. But target will get the 5 columns. From here, you see, broadcasting, housing, room 12G to G12 is here. See, broadcasting is here, housing is here, and my G2 is here. G2 is here. My username is here. See, in between the address, I got my username. Still, I'm able to extract it, right? So this can be done through the parsing and the standardization technique. Where these are the transformation like standardization, parser, and reference table, and labeler. These are mostly we don't have an IDQ MDM. That's where MDM is dependent on the IDQ to build the rules to extract this kind of handle this kind of data issues. I guess you don't have this kind of transformation in MDM, right?
Yes, yes. Yes, Gautam.
Because, yeah, that's where MDM is now is trying to integrate with the IDQ to call these rules as an web-based tools, as an web services to cleanse the data based on these things.
Okay.
See, in doctor address, this is my input. This is my reference table. When you purchase a doctor address licenses from your requirement, maybe the based on the customer support you are giving, maybe banking, retail or marketing or the customer supply. When you purchase the doctor address, it will provide the reference table, which reference table will have this kind of information. You are passing this information, but you are getting this information because based on the reference table match, it will give you the information like this. You are passing, you as per your, this information is like this, but as per the government standards, the address, government email pattern, the address will be like this. So when you pass this information to the doctor address, this will give you address like this. Okay.
Okay.
This is not required in a MDM or IDQ. This is for both IDQ MDM. This is a common license and common pattern. If you are not maintaining, if you don't have any, if you don't have your address information system so strong, then you'll depend on the address validation file. But your client has a strong third-party system where they do verification of address, or they maintaining their database is so strong enough to maintain the addresses, then you don't need this address validation. Okay.
Okay.
So this is moreover IDQ thing. And here we can, without any streamless effort, without any third-party plugin, you can integrate your IDQ, your Power Center with an IDQ with a Power Center. Similarly, MDM also. You just need to export and import to the Power Center, where the entire code is copied into the Power Center, and you can, without installing any plugin, you can use your Power Center IDQ code in Power Center to run the job. Okay. So coming to the tool, this is called, we call it this is called a developer tool.
Okay.
Again, tomorrow I'll show how to add those things. Just giving some overview of the transformations, so that I can show you tomorrow what are the things we have over here. So these are transformations we have in IDQ. These are all components including the Power Center and the IDQ components. So the list which I was seeing in the left here are the active transformations. These are passive transformations. Coming to here, yeah, this is the complete list of transformations which I have in IDQ. The left side components are from the Power Center components. Whatever you do, you can do in the Power Center, you can do in the IDQ also as well. And these are the components we have in the Power Center IDQ. Doctor address, associated transformation, bad record exception, case converter, classification, comparison, consolidation, decision making, duplicate record exception, keygen, labeler, match, merge, parser, standardization. Whatever you see, these two red, these two I have issued the license. I cannot perform that, and even I didn't have any exposure on these two things. Okay, we will trying to cover all these transformations.
Okay.